Welcome to Justice Now, and you've reached the series on Tips for Black Workers, Part 32. And that is to enjoy the accolades that you've earned based on your merits and based on your creativity and intelligence. Definitely enjoy them. Do not share them. Do not be humble about them. And the reason I say this is because you deserve to have those accolades. You've worked hard for them. You've been recognized for great work. And I would highly suggest that you place all commendations, all positive appraisals, all into a binder if it's not in certificate form. If it's in certificate form, you can certainly photocopy, place the original in a frame and frame it if there's a place for you to frame it within your view, so you can always look at it. If you are feeling particularly low because of the anti-Black sentiment that comes your way. But by all means, you make sure that you have it with you in some form or fashion. Put it in what's known as a show me binder, so that when you are marketing yourself in an interview towards prospective employers, that they can flip through and see the accolades of what you've done. In addition to that, if there's any additional job tasks that are outside of your job responsibilities that you've been trained for, that you've been recognized for, include that. Sorry, I just got the hiccups. But if you've received those, definitely put it in a show me binder, bring it with you to the interview, because that show me binder speaks louder than words. Now, why do I mention about accolades and fully embracing you being deserving of those accolades? As in other videos, I've mentioned that oftentimes when you're in the workplace as a Black worker, there were several forms of abuse that aims at eroding your sense of confidence, your sense of dignity, and in particular, if in a leadership position or in a position of being an excellent worker, it's to erode that reputation as well. And although it's commonly believed that this is from envious people, yes, it is from envious people, but I also believe that thrown in there is a lot of racism and anti-Black sentiments towards Black workers that this happens. What will happen oftentimes is when you receive those awards, there will be talk about whether you deserve them. There'll even be talk about whether it's legitimate. And it's really interesting because I don't see that happening with white counterparts. And very rare to never do I see this happen to non-Black, non-white counterparts. But I've experienced it, and I've heard from many Black workers that this occurs with them, that when they receive an accolade or an award, a commendation for their stellar output of work, then it's delegitimized, it's trivialized. So I'll give you a few examples. One time I used to work with a credit union, and this credit union had a corporate social responsibility idol, or a CSR award. And I was one of 6 black people that was working in this credit union. And what was interesting was that despite the fact that I was bringing in a lot of um, customers, or in this case members when they're a credit union, um, I was bringing in through word of mouth of, oh, this is a great credit union, be a part of it, making really great sales, so exceeding my expectations and that of the company in terms of day-to-day credit sales, mortgage, lending quotas. It was trivialized. So for this CSR Idol Award, I was nominated. I was told, oh, why don't you submit? Because I always talked about how I volunteer. So I submitted it. And it was against myself and another worker who is in a completely different province. Typically, credit unions can only operate within their own province. However, this particular credit union doubled as a bank as well. So 2 provinces were affected. I was known as the one in the west, and the other worker was the nominee in the east. Now, the way that it's done is the members, when they look on the credit union website, they get to select who they wish to nominate or vote for in order to to get the prize at the end of the day. And the prize would be a trip to a country where a credit union is being developed, and being able to find out about the culture, about how the credit union runs, and then reporting that back to the company. So this is a span over 2 provinces. So the 2 provinces affected. The members through the website, the credit union website, would cast their votes. And they'll cast their votes, they'll be tabulated, and then whomever gets the most votes wins. So at the particular branch I was working at, again, I was experiencing racism and I was experiencing anti-black sentiment, despite the fact that my work has exceeded the expectations of my role manyfold. About a week into the ending of the votes, some of the co-workers who have been racist and expressing anti-black sentiment, would casually walk by my desk and say, oh, I don't think this one's going to win. And instead of being described as she, I was described as this one in this particular context. It's interesting they don't seem to remember your name when they're in so-called casual or informal communication. But they'll walk by the desk and go, I don't think this one's going to win. Oh, people would ask, well, did you cast your vote? No, I'm not even going to bother. This one's not going to win. I won't even bother with this one. I don't even think this one's going to last. As in last in the position. Well, there's an annual general meeting known as an AGM, and the results had come about where my video was shared and that of the candidate was shared, and had the people from the different branches connect via Blue Jeans through video conferencing to the other ones in the next province. And lo and behold, I won. And I ended up going to Glasgow, Scotland for the credit union conference as a result. But when I won, the ones that were claiming, I don't think she's going to win, were in shock. I had a standing ovation, except for the people that were at the branch. They deliberately sat down and did not stand up to clap, which I'd noticed. But I had a standing ovation. And I felt really nice. Like it really validated me at that point of, I am doing great with what I do. I do excellent work. Mind you, I go to the conference. Trying to get to the conference was difficult in that the branch manager was deliberately making it difficult for me to receive the monies needed in order to go on the trip, because when you get nominated to go on the trip, you are to receive a certain allotment of funds in order to be there for that week. So there was great difficulty in trying to get the funding, of which I've had to reach out to supervisors higher than the branch manager in order to receive it in a timely fashion. Then the branch manager and my direct supervisor started this rumor stating that somehow I had rigged the voting process. Keep in mind, it's between two provinces, and somehow I had rigged it. Now, one would think, okay, this is pretty ridiculous claim. And it was ridiculous. I'm not an IT person. I don't have an influence over the span of two provinces to rig this elective process to nominate someone to represent the credit union. But what happened as a result? As a result, the CSR Idol gets shut down. It ran for 5 years, and then it was shut down. I was the last person to be nominated for the CSR Idol. Frequently, I'll check the website to see if they've restarted it again, but I have not seen it restarted, and I still have some people that I speak to who work there, and they've told me that it never revived. So it was just quite interesting. Definitely hold on to your accolades, because I was able to use that to get my other job. So definitely have that with you, but don't be surprised about the types of reactions. Again, it comes down to that racist abuse, that anti-Black abuse, where there are others that state that you don't deserve to be recognized for the work you do. So just to be mindful of that, keep your self-confidence in your dignity.